Hey everybody, it's me, the Einstein of Wall Street, at the corner of Walk and Don't Walk, at the corner of Broad and Wall Street. Take me out to the friggin' ball game. Ladies and gentlemen, Nvidia earnings, they're on the tape. I'm here with Dan Ives, the #1 tech analyst in the world. This gentleman can take a story, can take a rhetoric, can take a strategy, can take a stock, and can take a sector and break it down. That's why we're together. Einstein and Ives, a groundbreaking, right, collaboration of two people who have a different tack, a different handle, a different approach to basically telling the story of what's going on in the stock market and trying to make it accessible to you all, right? Take me out to the ball game. Dan this week is the flavor of the moment. In French, that's le fruit du moment, because of Nvidia, because of the calls that he's made. And we're not here to make a victory lap around the fact that he did have a pretty good call around that stock. All eyes were on Nvidia this week. Dan, give me a little lowdown. What was your week like, and what's going on?
I mean, look, it's the godfather of AI, Jensen and Nvidia, the world was watching. And it shows that this AI revolution, it's not softening, it's actually accelerating. So I think it's a get out the popcorn moment. It's a 1995 moment, not a 1999 moment.
Okay, explain that to me.
And what that means is that this is the start of what I view as a 3 to 4 year run from a technology perspective, where AI now is going to be showing up on the enterprise, on consumer. That's names like Dell, Oracle, ServiceNow, of course Microsoft. You look at on semis, names like AMD, the whole supply chain. So Nvidia, right now, it's their world. Everyone else is paying rent, but it's showing the demand. It's $1 trillion of incremental spend now coming to tech. Now, if you're a bear right now, coming out of that cave and hibernation mode, and you're trying to bet on that trend, it's like going one-on-one against LeBron James. It's probably not going to go well.
But why would anybody be a bear on this? How could it have been that everyone got it so wrong that a year ago has so much changed in the last year that on February 2023, Nvidia was trading at $108, and as of today, after blowout earnings and a 10-for-1 split, we're trading at $1,050. Explain it to me.
So now I'll do like Batman. I'm going to go bearish Dan. So I'll go like this.
This is Bear Dan.
So ready? Okay, so now I'm bearish. So I'm bearish. It's like, it's not sustainable. Valuation, AI is hype. There was basically double buying in terms of. But all those bear theses have been thrown out the window. It's like you driving in Nantucket eating your lobster roll. It's been thrown out the window. Because if you look fundamentally, look at the CapEx from Meta, Microsoft, Amazon. Look at OpenAI. This foundation is now being built. And it's being led in the Mount Rushmore of AI by the godfather, Jensen.
I love that you say it that way, because that's unbelievable. So you talk to me about the second and third derivatives of the AI story and how Nvidia is going to be at the forefront of that. What does that mean for the lay investor who's just trying to, look, the average guy is sitting around, they've watched that stock go from 108 to 1,000. They feel they've missed the boat. Maybe now, as psychological as a 10-for-1 split is, maybe you're going to have a whole nother generation of people going, oh, at $100, maybe I should get involved in this. But explain to me, what are they looking at this company? How is AI going to impact our lives in a big way? Talk to me about the second and third derivative, and then talk to me what it means to the Dells and the Microsoft and the other companies.
First of all, you could, just from a stock perspective, you're talking about a company that many thought would have $8 to $10, maybe $15 of earnings power, 25, 26, that's now 40. So just as we're talking about a stock that's moved higher, numbers have moved so much that the stock I'm not going to call it cheap, but numbers have kept up and actually accelerated. And I think what it shows is these chips, the new oil, the new gold, what are they fueling? They're fueling use cases for enterprises. Healthcare.
What does that mean?
What that basically means, hospitals.
Right.
They're going to take AI and they're going to be able to make medical decisions.
Right.
AI analysis of patients.
Okay.
That were
Even
never
medical devices, perhaps.
devices. You're going to be able to have use cases that computers are going to be able to do.
Okay.
That today can't be done because that data has never been able to be accessed.
Correct. Right.
So essentially, Nvidia almost cracked the code.
Crack the code.
I would view it as when you think about a light bulb,
Right.
a horse buggy going to a car,
Right.
Model T.
Right.
We're in that moment. You know, it's a fourth industrial revolution.
Right.
But it's being led by the chip.
Right.
But that chip is just the start foundationally for software, for semis. Look at names like Meta. Apple will now have their AI strategy. They'll talk about it in 2 weeks.
But then it's all going to go back to NVIDIA. NVIDIA is going to play a role, have a seat at all those tables now.
They're flying the plane. Jensen in his black leather jacket.
Right.
He's
We all
flying
love
the
that.
plane. Investors are in 3A,
Right.
drinking their Cabernet, watching Netflix as Jensen flies the plane.
Right.
But the second, third, fourth derivatives are across enterprise software.
Okay.
It's
So
across.
that's case scenarios, right? He talks about enterprise. That's like hospitals. Give me one other case of an enterprise.
Banks.
Okay,
I mean,
great.
you're talking about banks that look how much JP Morgan's going to be spending on AI technology.
Right.
So when you think about AI, it's not just about Nvidia. It's not just about Microsoft. There's a broader theme that's now playing out that I view as really the tidal wave of spend that's fueling this tech bull market that we expect to continue well into 2025. And obviously the offset that me and you always talk about is the Fed and rates and
Right.
what's the market pricing in.
Right.
And every time the Fed does their hawkishness, market comes down. At the end of the day, the Fed's next move is a cut, not a raise.
Okay.
That's bullish in terms of broader tech.
Okay.
You focus on the technology and where numbers are going. That's why right now, I want to be in the left lane, in the Bugatti,
Right.
driving 100.
Right.
I'll pay up for it owning tech. I don't want to own a value sector, driving a minivan, saying my kid was an honor roll student in third period, driving 45 miles an hour.
Have we ever seen anything like this before? You talk about a revolution. You talk about a sector and a stock. You talk about a groundbreaking thing that's going to have an effect on every little part of the nooks and crannies of our life. We're talking George Jetson, not Jensen, George Jetson. Remember that growing up? I don't know if that ages you out, but flying around in your own little thing going to...
Who didn't watch the Jetsons?
George Jetson. Meet George Jetson, his boy Elroy. It's a beautiful...
I'm going to start saying that song the whole weekend.
I know you will. I'll text it to you. And his dog Astro. Have we ever seen anything like this before?
Star of the internet.
Jane, his wife, yes.
1995 star of the internet.
Okay.
And that's why it's in
That's why you say 95 versus 99. There's no bubble
not
here.
99.
Right.
And again, we talk about bubble. Look what's happening in terms of the actual and these numbers.
Right.
Look at the free cash flow.
Right.
Look at, and when you talk about things like Apple $110 billion buyback,
Right.
the strong are getting stronger.
Right.
So tech as a percent of the S&P,
Right.
and just overall what I view as weighting is going to continue to increase. But the numbers that we're seeing support tech stocks that move higher.
Right. Okay, so you're really checking off every friggin' box. Now, but it's still a new story, and you keep talking about we're in the first, second, maybe third inning of this game, right, with a lot of runway.
First, second inning, you could argue in some ways even in the batter's box, dugout.
Right.
This is going to last for years.
For years.
But again, it goes back to bears that have stuck with valuation have missed every transformational tech growth thing the last 20 years, from Meta to Apple, to Tesla to Microsoft to others.
Right.
And it just goes back to valuation and $3, get your cup of coffee.
Okay. So, it's amazing that we're experiencing that. We are renting space in Dan's life because, so you need to know who Dan is. He is a tech analyst, probably in my opinion, one of the best of all. And so it's important also to note how much the players in the game are really supporting that. You talk about, you're able to actually recommend, what would you say to somebody looking to put money to work? And I can't pick a stock and I'm not an advisor, but is this, you're still seeing growth, there's still time to hop. We're not sitting at home going, it's the third inning, I'm not gonna go to that game, I missed the boat. There's still plenty of runway and room to get in the game.
It's a 95, we're in Vegas, we're at the club, it's 10 p.m.
Right.
It's not 3 a.m.
Right.
The point is it's 10 p.m. I'm not saying it's 8 p.m.
Right.
That was last year.
Right.
But we believe this AI party has just started.
Okay. So, where do we go from here, right? The question is, when somebody's sitting there looking at their market as a part of their portfolio, they want to be in this game. It's going to change everything that's in our lives in a big way.
I would just end with, you want to own a basket for AI, from semis to software. You need to play tech across enterprise, consumer, across semis and software, led by Microsoft, led by Nvidia. I look at Alphabet as another example,
right.
AMD on semis. I think now this is really starting the AI revolution.
What do you think about the split? Explain that to me. Good thing, bad thing, why are they doing it? Is it just make it more accessible?
I think it's
psychologically, it's not that big a deal.
It's a position of strength.
Okay.
I think you see it a lot in tech, and also it comes down to, ultimately what they need to do given the stock and what the movement is. Right. But look, I just want to say, as always,
you gotta go. I love it.
It was so awesome seeing you. And look, this is just the start. Yeah. The popcorn's getting ready for this revolution.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the forefront of a revolution. We are seeing it. We've got box seats to this game because not that many people get to hang out with this guy and listen to his wisdom. That's what I'm trying to break down to you. Make this accessible, understandable. He's got to run. I love you, my brother. Yeah. Be well. Einstein and Ives, guys. Check it out. You got to be there or be square. And that's all we got to say about that. Boom.